Hello friends, welcome to the higher module on institutional management for entrepreneurship. This module has got 8 units in total, and we are right now into the first unit, which is on entrepreneurial competency mapping and business opportunity identification. And this is the part 3, the third video, the last video in this unit. This video is on opportunity identification and product selection. The contents of this presentation, first there is opportunity sensing, how to sense the opportunity, and this has got 3 sub portions. First is scanning of the environment, then idea generation, and then product or the service selection, and then there is a word of caution also. Now, the first is what is opportunity sensing? You see, opportunity sensing calls for the ability and the eagerness to perceive and receive the curious signals, sieve them like we sieve, and process opportunity for arriving at a final decision in favor of an enterprise. An entrepreneur searches for and identifies an opportunity before working to convert it into a business reality. Now, the question is, what is an opportunity? An opportunity is a result of interaction between the needs of the society, the capability of the entrepreneur, and the resources available in the environment. So, basically 3 things. One is the needs of the society, what the people want. Second is the capability or the ability of the entrepreneur, whether he or she is able to fulfill that need or not. And third is the resources, because you need the resources in order to fulfill those needs. He does this, he or she does this by being alert to the world around him. This is the graphical picturization of this same thing. So, we have the needs of the society, that is the people, then the capability of the entrepreneur and resources in the environment, and then from there we find out the entrepreneurial opportunity. The process of opportunity sensing basically involves 3 steps. The first is scanning of the environment, generating an idea, and third is product or service selection. Now, let us take them one by one. So, the first step is scanning of the environment. Scanning of the environment refers to the understanding of the socio-cultural, economic, technological, fashion, and even the changing lifestyle and aspirations of the local people. It is not a matter of just observing the obvious in the environment, but sensing the emerging opportunities. That means, the entrepreneur or the prospective entrepreneur or the budding entrepreneur, he is not just looking at the obvious in the environment, but he is trying to sense something, what can be the possible business opportunity. So, he has got that third eye or the sixth sense to look for the opportunity in the same circumstances. So, but sensing the emerging opportunities out of the interaction of such futuristic needs of goods and services, which otherwise are not perceived by the general masses. So, the general people, normal people are not able to see the business opportunity, but this person has a special quality, has a special ability, he is able to sense the opportunity, which may arise right at the very moment or which may arise in the future also. So, normally we make a matrix of opportunity. So, if you see on the y axis we have the attractiveness of the opportunity, on the x axis we have the probability of occurrence. So, if the opportunity is very attractive, is highly attractive, and the probability is also very high, then it is a very attractive opportunity and this can be exploited. If the opportunity is not that much attractive, it is like a low attractive, but the probability of occurrence is also very high, then it is moderately attractive, it can still be exploited. If the attractiveness is very high, but the probability of occurrence is a little low, again it is a moderately attractive this thing opportunity, and this can be exploited. But if the opportunity is not at all attractive and the probability is also very low, then it is the least attractive and should be discarded there only. And this is the threat matrix. So, on the y axis we have the seriousness of the threat, on the x axis we have the probability of occurrence, So, if the threat is very high and the probability of occurrence is also very high, then it is a major threat. So, we have to see the threats also, because there could be certain opportunities which a person can think of exploiting, but there could be some threats also, So, you have to see the threats simultaneously along with the opportunities also. So, if it is a major threat, then we have to discard this thing. If it is a moderate threat, as you can see on the screen, then it can be thought of, but if it is a minor threat, then we can always go ahead with the opportunity. Okay. The second step is the idea generation. So, the people, they can generate the ideas, we are all educated people, even the people who are not educated, they can also generate the ideas. So, looking at the society around you, looking around at the people around you, you can think of generating certain ideas also. Like I have given certain examples, like for example, solving people's problems. For example, listening to a housewife wishing for a water filter which should be attached to the tap to give direct supply of filtered water gave a business idea for a new water filter. So, somebody thought of having a water filter connected with the water tap directly. So, it came a new business idea. So, that is how you generate the ideas, by listening to the ladies, the housewives, the people, the society. So, anybody can give a very wonderful idea. Second is combining two or more ideas. Sometimes we have different ideas. By combining them, you can have a new product or a something new. Like for example, selling different items in one shop presents the new idea of a departmental store. You see, a little long time back, we did not have any departmental stores. We used to have separate shops, but then somebody thought of combining the things and putting in under one roof. It became a departmental store. Then the next is a new way of doing old things, like instead of selling pizza in a bakery shop, the sale through the mobile vans at different locations gives a new idea for an old project. So, the same thing, instead of selling in the shop, now you can get it right at your doorsteps. Next is like improving the product or the service. So, milk which was usually supplied in bottles long time back, when packed in sachets or Tetra Paks, was seen as a new idea. Then you can also extend somebody's else successful idea to other settings. Like for example, the successful introduction of a new product gives idea for repeating to catch growing market in other places. For example, the electric mosquito repellent in most of the developing countries. So, you can take this idea to some other places where it is not being used. So, it becomes a new idea for those people over there. Then adding a new value to an old product. So, like ballpoint pens used for writing to have the printed name of the customers may be a new idea for its use as a publicity material. Then you can do the market research, like you can see the demand supply gap through the market research. It can give you a lot of ideas in any place, in any area. You can do the demand supply gap, what is the demand, what is the supply. If the demand is more, supply is less, you can always go for that thing. If there is a new demand for which there is no supply, you can make that new product also. So, that can be thought of. Then use of a hobby. So, hobby of collecting flowers may give rise to a business idea of dried flowers art objects. Similarly, building up the skills. The skills very often give ideas of skill based enterprises. Some people are very skillful, they can learn new skills, and then they can exploit that as a part of their business. Like for example, the dancing skills can be used for starting a dancing school. Then like turning waste material into something useful. Availability of the waste paper gives the idea of an enterprise making paper products. Then bringing ideas home from holidays. Sometimes you go on a holiday or a visit, you face certain problems over there and you want to solve those problems. So, that is like a new idea. So, difficulties faced in arranging accommodation during the holidays or visits may give rise to an idea of starting a travel agency or providing these facilities. In fact, that is how this like Oyo rooms, it came like that only. Even this Ola cabs, Uber cabs, the same thing, it came from there only. Then the brainstorming, a group of persons, they sit together and they can generate the business ideas as much as possible. one idea leads to another idea that appear to be crazy. It may appear to be crazy in the very beginning, but it can prove to be a future boom. Then checking the published list, several publications list down business opportunities. Scanning such lists give a lot of business ideas. Then talking and listening to the people. So, by being a keen listener, which is very important for an entrepreneur, one can find out what people need or what new suggestions they have to offer for setting up new ventures. Then the daydreaming and fantasizing, again very important. It may look silly, but it is very important. This may sound funny or silly, but can be very useful for generating business ideas. Variety of video games are an example. It was all basically daydreaming, and then from there we had this video games. Then thinking of product use which change in the size and the shape. Like for example, take the case of a plastic paperweight. We have plastic paperweights. You reduce the size of that this thing, it becomes a dice. You increase this thing, it becomes like a plastic stool. Then commercializing innovations, inventions in the laboratories may give ideas for their commercializations. So, some of the inventions they can be brought out from the laboratories, and they can be field tested, and then they become the like innovations. Then we have this cluster of businesses. So, certain areas are famous for industry or business in clusters. Like for example, if you go to Ambala in Haryana, it is a scientific instruments cluster over there. You go to Ludhiana in Punjab, we have the textiles the cluster over there. You go to let us say Tamil Nadu, places like let us say Tirupur is famous for the hosiery industry, places close to Coimbatore famous for the textile industry. So, they are all basically clusters. So, more business ideas can be used due to the availability of the skills and customers in that area. So, in that area where you have a lot of clusters, the employees are skillful in that area. So, their skills can be used in making some other products also. Then the multiple use, certain uses are conveniently combined, giving ideas for new products, like for example, a nail cutter with a bottle opener in a key ring. Even like we have a Swiss knife also, a small knife which has a lot of multi functions basic. And then you can there are a lot of examples like tiffin service or that dabba service, like people who live in the metropolitan cities or big cities, and they are staying alone over there, they are working over there. So, they need that food, so that from there it came the tiffin service or the dabba service. Then we have this matrimonial websites. It is all somebody's idea which came in the very beginning. Paying guests, like we have this Airbnb, which is like a world famous Airbnb and very cheap also. Similarly, we have this Oyo rooms, which are again very inexpensive sort of stay in the hotels. Then ready-made fancy dresses. Even now you can get the bridal dresses also on rent instead of buying this hugely expensive lehengas and saris. You can just pay rent, and then you can just have it for a day also. So, the list is absolutely endless. So, this is all basically the generation of the ideas. And then you have to do the SWOT analysis. Basically, you have to see the opportunities, you have to see the threats, and then you have to see your strengths and your weaknesses also. So, you have to keep in mind your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities and the threats, and then you have to make a matrix. So, you have to use the strengths to take advantage of the opportunities, you have to use the strengths to avoid the weaknesses, you have to overcome the weaknesses to take advantage of the opportunities, and you have to minimize the weaknesses to avoid the threats. The third step is the product or the service selection. Now, the basic selection criteria for choosing a product or a service is that mainly three things. First is either the product or the service should serve an existing market in which the demand exceeds supply. That means, in any area where the demand is more and the supply is less, you can always venture into that area because the demand is there. Second is, or the product should serve a presently unserved need. That means, the demand is there, but there is no supply. You can always make that product or you can always supply that service. The third is, or the product should be able to successfully compete with the existing products. That means, the demand is also there, the supply is also there. You enter into that area, but you can compete with the competitors over there. So, how you can compete? You can have a lower price, maybe at the same quality you have the lower price, improved design, longer life, better quality, better aesthetic looks, better after sales services, better guarantee, etc. So, these are all basically the parameters on which you can compete within the same environment. So, how to get this venture idea generation? So, there are again two criteria. First is look for a need and the product or the service to satisfy that need. So, look into the society, look into the community, what people want basically, and what you can do, what product you can make or what service you can provide to fulfill that need. So, that is number 1. The second is find a product idea and then find out the extent of the need. In this case, you first think of an idea that okay, I will do this thing and then see whether these people need this thing or not. Okay. Now, let us take them one by one. So, the first is looking for a need, how to find out the need. So, first is studying the existing industries to know the needs not presently met by the local industry. In a certain area, the local industry is not meeting some of the needs and we are importing the things from outside, either within the country or out of the country. So, there is a demand supply gap. The second is market which are not adequately served. That means, the demand is there, the supply is also there, but supply is less, demand is more, supply is less. Again you can venture into that area. Or the support needs, that means, the needs for ancillarization, vendor development, service industry, like if there is a very big, let us say tractor manufacturing this thing unit, it needs some ancillaries, it needs some vendors, there is a car manufacturing, let us say company over there, industry over there, it needs some vendors, needs some ancillaries, that can also be thought of. Second is analyze the population trends and demographic data. So, see the composition of the population. You see, you have to see what basically you want to make, whether your product is basically meant for everybody or is it meant for like for the older people or young people or ladies. So, you have to see the composition of the population and then your product. Then the occupational pattern, what people are doing basically, it will show you their purchasing power. If the people are more into the business in a certain area, so those people have more purchasing power. Like for example, if you go to let us say Ludhiana in Punjab, because we belong to Punjab, so people are quite rich over there, so they have more purchasing power. So, you can think of then you can sell a lot of luxury items over there because people have more purchasing power. And then you have to see the socio-economic background also. Then the demographic changes, like for example, managing old age creates many opportunities. If people are becoming old and old, so they have their own requirements, like diapers and lot of things, the old people they need. Then the growing security concerns in the office and the home. So, there is a lot of business of security agencies nowadays. Everybody has got a CCTV cameras in their homes. People are hiring security personnel when they are out of the homes. So, that is again a very big business. The third is study the developmental plans and consult development agencies. So, look into the projects on the priorities of the government. So, which projects the government is prioritizing, the central government, the state government, and they are giving a lot of, let us say, subsidies, lot of they are attracting, they are giving a lot of tax incentives basically. You can always venture into that area, and you can look at the trends at the country level, regional level and at the global level. So, basically you have to keep your eyes and ears open and keep on looking about the different opportunities. Then study the effect of new legislations, like for example, the government wants environmental friendly items. So, anything which is concerning which is protecting the environment, like non-conventional sources of energies like solar things basically, or you can think of all these things basically which will protect the environment. So, that is always on the priority of the government. Then analyze the social changes like the purchasing power. I have already explained, people have different purchasing powers depending upon the area, depending upon how influential that area is where people are living over there. Then they are changing lifestyles and changes in the living standards. Okay. So, the second, so first was looking for a need. Now, this is finding a product first and then looking for a need. So, how to find a product? So, make yourself aware of the locally available resources. So, see the area which is near to you, the locally available resources. So, the mineral resources, manpower resources, agriculture resources, horticulture resources, marine resources. So, depending upon the local resources which are easily available, the local raw material basically, you can think of making something out of that. It is always cost effective. Then examine the import substitution and export oriented items, like I was saying earlier also, the things which we are importing. So, that means there is a requirement of those things over here, something which we are exporting, that means there is a requirement of those things in those countries, you can always think of exporting also. Then refer to the list of items exclusively reserved for the small scale sector. Now, certain items are exclusively kept to be manufactured by the MSME sector, micro, small and medium enterprise sector. This list was initially it was around 836, but then it came down to 100 and it is reducing day by day. You can look into that list, if you can make something out of that, it is exclusive for the MSME sector. Refer to the list of banned items. Some items you cannot really manufacture being a small scale this thing entrepreneur, like for example, anything which is concerning defense items or all these things. So, you have to see that list also. And the list of encouraged items, so you have to see the industrial policies of the state and at the national level. So, what the country or what the state is basically trying to promote. So, those things, those products or those services you can always provide. Then you can think of some new technology products in case you are a technocrat or a technically experienced person. Then you can think of having something absolutely new technology, or you can have collaboration with some foreign player also. Attend trade fairs is very important. There are a lot of trade fairs in the country. So, when you go to the trade fairs, you get a lot of ideas. When you see the things over there, so you get a lot of ideas over there. Then study the published sources of ideas, like you can study the research and invention based products, then products based on the institutional or government purchases, like for example, hospitals. In fact, nowadays in this COVID-19, this pharmacy sector has really grown up. So, I think anything concerning the pharmacy or this hospitals, nursing homes, I think that is going to be the things of the future. Then for the schools, like schools, they need some like dresses or school bags or stationery. So, you can think of that thing also. Foreign collaboration or the service sector ideas. Then study the market and discuss with the people around you. It is very important for you to talk to the people, different varieties of people, different sets of people, just talk to them and take their opinion. Consult the project appraisal officers. You see, when you submit your business plans to a bank, so they will appraise your business plans. They are known as the project appraisal officers. So, those officers, they know what is happening right now, what is happening currently. So, what sorts of businesses people are setting up right now. So, if you can have connections with those people, they can always guide you that these are the sort of latest sort of businesses which people are going into, and then they can help you. Then you can think of like waste based products. You can make something out of the agro waste or industrial waste. Then you can think of something like skills or knowledge based products and your own strengths. In case you are a technocrat, as I said earlier also, you have certain skills, you have certain knowledge, you can think of combining that knowledge by setting up a relevant or like equivalent sort of a business or an enterprise. Then ideas based on your hobbies. You can look for the inventors who are willing to commercialize. Even you can buy an ongoing enterprise. Sometimes some entrepreneur is leaving the country, he is going out of the country, or he is just closing his business. You can just buy that ongoing business also. 6 advantages of buying an ongoing business. You can get it at a bargain price, because that person is leaving the business because of certain reasons. You may get at a very good bargain price. You will bypass a lot of startup problems, because when you start a new business, there are a lot of starting problems. In the case of an existing business which is already running, you will bypass all those starting problems. The guesswork is minimized. You have a right location of the business, right size building, right form of advertising, right prices, etc. The owner can give you a valuable information about the competition, demand, seasonal fluctuations, etc. You get time tested list of suppliers and service people. You just inherit all the things, and then you inherit trained employees, which is very important, who will help you learn the business. There is a word of caution. First is, do not plunge into a project or a business only because someone else is doing well. Sometimes we think that this person is doing really very well in a business, okay, let me also venture into that business. So, that is a wrong concept, because that person may have different strengths, So, you have to see your strengths also when you want to set up a business. It is important to generate ideas, but all may not be capable of developing into a saleable product. Again, it is very important, because when you do the brainstorming, when you talk to the people, you will have a lot of ideas, that is okay, but then you have to see yourself also. and you have to see whether they are feasible or not. It may look very good ideally or something in the lab, but whether it is practicable or not in the field, that you have to see. So, by all means consult the experts and other people, but take your own decisions. It is advisable to start small, especially for a first generation entrepreneur. My recommendation is that you start small, okay, with a common product rather than going for a very specialized product. So, once you have a proper this thing start, once you are really stabilize for some 3-4 years, and then you can take off. It is advisable to check if many similar projects are also coming up. Sometimes we think that this is a very new project or a very new business, and nobody has started before. So, maybe I am the first person, but sometimes simultaneously many people are setting up the same project. So, you have to be careful regarding that thing also. Then think of future and the long term possibilities for success, and select a project which has some flexibility for diversification also. So, I think that is all. So, thank you so much. In case you want to know more details, you can refer to the e-content, which is much richer in nature. Thank you so much.